And we are here in turn 17 of Monday Night Dominions. A comet has been sighted. Stability has decreased worldwide, leading to a universal income drop for all of our teams, except for Ermor, who, well, has other problems.
Some say Ermor is the most stoic of the nations.
Indeed, the least superstitious, certainly. Let us see how our players deal with this new lack of resources. Well, not as many indie battles this turn. Expansion is nearing completion.
Took long
Calum
enough.
continues to defeat all the barbs on the map. Even while in one war and preparing for another, it has time to expand as long as that expansion includes barbarians. Pythium did, in fact, manage to take the provinces we thought maybe they would lose to. Looks like, though, they sacrificed some gladiators in doing so. Ermor raided some PD. Tartary raided some PD.
Well, if you look at that Ermor push, you'll see that's not a raid. That's Ermor's Doom stack pushing into what could have been a huge battle. Tartary just didn't take it.
That is true.
I'm very surprised Ermor made that move, because if Tartary had expected it and wheeled everything around, this would have been a very dead stack of units.
Yes, so we have this is the entire Unholy Knight stack from the cap. These are Ermor's elite troops. They are not particularly elite, unfortunately, because they have 6 health. But they are certainly better than most other things that Ermor has on offer. The Undying will give them a little bit more health, but
26 is a lot more than 6.
26 is a lot more than 6. Yeah, this is the Ermorian Death stack, which is currently making its way into the homeland of Tartary.
I mean, if I were Ermor, I would turn that stack around immediately and maybe clear the barbs or something. But as Ermor, you don't want to be such a big threat that Tartary actually tries to flatten you, because he very much will.
Yeah, so an interesting thing is, although all of Ermor's units can breathe underwater and therefore can walk under rivers, their priests, for some reason, can't, actually. So the lictors cannot, and the prophets cannot. It's very strange. So they are not going to be able to jump this river if they wanted to continue in. They'll have to sort of take this snake maze around if they want to get closer to Tartary. They're in an interesting position because on the one hand, they're kind of out of this game if they don't make a huge gain right now. On the other hand, they don't really want Tartary's army to fight them. So yeah, if I were them, I would grab some of these lands and hope Tartary loses and then make a push a little bit later. I think maybe Ermor was reasonably confident that Tartary would move north, and this gives them a much better position to cut off these outlying forces. From here, they can sort of split in many ways. If they may have an underwater leader actually here, and they can basically take all these 4 provinces at once if they wanted to. In addition, they could probably move some guys here to there.
That would be bold.
I don't know what Ermor's plan is, but if I was them, I would try to get a little bit bigger and then try to wait for the right time to hit back at Tartary and maybe take a big swath of land in here.
Yeah, kudos to Ermor. Like, it was a good prediction that it was safe to move that stack in. And now he's just got to sort of continue playing it where he's picking up provinces without losing these units that he really can't afford to lose, given that he has so few right now.
Yeah, Uruk's army, additionally, is sort of pushing north from its capital, probably trying to catch this Kaelian stack. So Kaelian is now taking the back foot a little bit. Eriu has declared on Calum and is now sort of militarizing a bunch of... Actually, they're Furbolg troops. They're are neither elves nor are they normal humans. They are slightly more elite, but not stealthy, to prepare for an invasion of Calum. While Uruk is seeing if they can take back their land and push forward.
And it's looking like they can. Uruk is a lot better off if it's sort of, on the offensive instead of the defensive against Calum. Although you have to expect that as Uruk, if you make a really predictable move, once Calum has Conj 5 and the air elementals, he'll show up and drop, with every mage he has, he'll drop air elementals and put 30 of them on you. which may or may not be successful because the Maidens of the Moon do have magic weapons, right?
Not natively, no.
No, okay, never mind. So maybe that will flatten Uruk. We'll see.
I don't know if KLM has air elementals, however, at this point in the game. I think they maybe went for less elementals, so they may be approaching Conjuration 5 soon-ish here. But, it would be also reasonable for them to have tried to get to Storm first, rather than to get to elementals.
True.
We will see. Uruk has agreed to basically, I believe, lease Pythium, these two provinces. The idea is that Pythium moves into these provinces and then pays Uruk the money in exchange for Pythium staying out of this war. And what that means is if Uruk ever loses this stack and is dead, then Pythium is able to move in and take a lot more land. So it's sort of what you might call an insurance policy for Pythium. They don't have to risk a bunch of troops invading Uruk, and Uruk gets a better chance of winning its war.
I don't really understand what the point of leasing the land is, but okay.
Well, again, it's the idea that if Calum drops an army here, they can take all these provinces one turn, and then Pythium gets nothing from the war. So Pythium will be incentivized to attack Uruk now. But if Pythium can hold these two provinces, then there is some...
Oh, so it's actually more of a, I'm holding these, so Calum don't attack me flag.
Right, because Pythium will own them, but give the money to Uruk.
Okay. I don't think that's necessary, given sort of the defensive bent Calum has right now, but why not?
Well, we didn't know that last time.
Fair,
These deals were negotiated a while ago. It may be that if Calum goes on the back foot here, Uruk might want to renegotiate with Pythium, because Pythium has not actually moved into these provinces yet,
right.
But we will see.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the Diplo to see whether that sort of attack on Ariu ever materializes. There was at one point supposed to be like an Ind, Pythium, maybe Arco attack, and I haven't heard a peep about it since.
Yeah, Ind has been waffling quite a bit. Ind has been on many people's sides over the course of this game, but has not really made any definitive moves here. I would say Ind needs to sort of pick a side pretty quickly. They're kind of middling in terms of most things. They sit in the dead center of almost all the graphs except for forts, which they are just behind Ulm.
I think perhaps the danger here is that if you look at the geography, an Arco Ind war looks likely at some point. So if either of those players really goes hard and has an army deep in enemy territory or loses a lot of mages, the other could perhaps leap in.
Mm-hmm. Pythium here also is in a great position to jump on Arcocephaly. If this Ind Arco war develops, I would predict a Pythium jumping in on that. Unless, of course, this is assuming Calum is steady and this is assuming this war continues. I don't know if Pythium wants to particularly get involved in this fight, but I don't think there's a lot of easy land to get there right now, but definitely Pythium could roll into Arcocephaly right now, especially given that they've lost a lot of troops. Though I'm sure they're probably already at elementals, given the fact that they lead the research graph pretty commandingly. Mm-hmm. Though that is Pythium in second. So Pythium's going to have good stuff also.
Pythium would have to walk in with a plan to deal with that Arco Colossus.
Yeah, I know we previously talked about how the Arco Colossus is really super powerful. Assuming they're going down Conjuration 2, they're going to have their angels reasonably soon. I don't know what level their lowest angel commander is, but certainly a Harbinger, at that once Pythium is in Harbingers, I think a Harbinger thug, has no problem dealing with, especially because it's magic phase and has built-in lightning immunity and great stats compared to the thing. I think if a Harbinger thug could magic phase kill this god if it's exposed.
Yeah, so in that case, Arco would have to keep the Colossus with a big army to be safe.
Yep.
Which takes away a lot of the value.
Uruk is striked out with their god, and I actually wanted to see what sort of gear he's bringing. Okay, what do we have here? We've got an enchanted shield, black steel, ice helmet, black steel, rabbit foot, and bear claw. Any comments?
Very manly.
Very manly. I would say that Black Steel Sword is just strictly worse than a Stinger. Stinger is just, I mean, it's 1 gem as opposed to 6 gems, I believe. But if you have the gems, like, the Stinger is really good. Maybe Uruk lacked the gems to make the Stinger. I'm not sure about this Rabbit Foot Charm. I feel like this could have been a Flying Shield.
Really, anything.
Really, like, Twist Fate is so useless. Like, why even bother? It's not worth the mage turn to make.
Right. Maybe it was like from an event or something.
But I mean, this is. I know we were really bullish in the beginning with and then we were immediately very bearish when they got into their 3v1 position. But I think Uruk has a chance of coming out of this in the top third of nations. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pythium not invading him is key, and he pieced out sort of the most dangerous nation Ind. And I don't know what's going on with the Diplo. I had thought that Ind was going to go grab that fort right away, and that has not happened.
Developing situation on that front. I think Ind has been pretty non-committal. I'm surprised Ind is not making a little bit more of a... Considering they took a really bully Bless, they have not sort of thrown that around at all.
Mm-hmm.
But this god, this god will take on the entire Kalian stack, I would say, right? They do not do a lot of damage. 26 prot, 5 awe, and regen.
Yeah, that should do it.
Birds are getting through that. We might see a god on god battle. I'm pretty sure this god wins a god on god battle very decisively, though. The Kalian god relies on awe and invulnerability. It will literally get one shot by this Black Steel Sword.
Yeah, imagine with an armor piercing stinger too.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. So, I actually don't. I think Calum needs to find either allies or, I mean, if they're at Conjuration 5, they can keep that in their back pocket and just wait for one of these guys to make a misstep. But I'm not exactly sure what Kalian's going to do now that they're in this 2v1 situation.
Right, and if they don't sort of get out of it somehow, there's a chance that Pythium could see Calum bleeding and jump in for the 3v1.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
And I think if we look at Tartary for a second, sort of the only other comment I have here is I understand that Tartary is a raiding nation, right? But I don't like the fact that Tartary is trying to raid in a 1v3. He sent 1 stack against Man, it got PD trapped. He sent 2 stacks against Olm, and he's got 1 sort of hanging out near Urmor. To me, that there's not a lot of point in sending like 1 batch of raiders at like 3 different people. Like, you're just throwing away gold and slightly inconveniencing them. If he was sending like a whole bunch of raiders against one person, sort of with the goal of harassing them so much that they might want to get out of the war, that would be one thing. I don't think any of these nations really are likely to get out of the war just for a mild inconvenience, so I wouldn't even be doing that. I'd be roaming around with like 1 enormous doom stack looking to wipe armies, or maybe like 1 major doom stack and 1 minor doom stack.
Yeah, we still have this pretty unimpressive man ball here.
Right, yes. If I were Tartary, I would really be looking to collide with this, and I think
this is the army that Tartary wants to find, and that army this turn moved into this cave. Now, while Tartary is very mobile, there are a lot of rivers in the south. There are 2 caves, a forest, 3 forests, a swamp. Like, Tartary can't exactly jump around these 3 fronts easily. These guys can make the war last forever, but we will just see what happens if these guys ever actually collide.
Tartary's kind of cut off there. I don't know what the safe way for those guys to get back is.
Oh, there's no safe way. These guys are toast.
I mean, I think they just need to guess correctly where the Urmor stack is, and they can sneak out through Urmor, perhaps. Although maybe if he reinforces it with his cap stuff, he could cover both provinces.
A good note is that Man decided to take our advice in terms of PD. This is the PD in one of these Man provinces. It's, I would say, reasonably impressive.
Yeah, it was a great investment to stop sort of the hassle of trying to chase down and cut off a Tartary stack.
Yeah, considering Tartary has gone for this raiding strategy, This amount of PD is going to be pretty good. How much is this? 30 PD. Yep, that's a lot.
It's on a huge gold farm. It probably paid for itself and not losing the farm this turn.
Probably did. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's this turn.
All right.
These wars continue to be a little non-committal. Who knows who will make the first big, bold play?
Yeah, I mean, we have like the Kalem stack, the Uruk stack, the Tartary stack, the Man stack. Any one of these getting wiped out could sort of suddenly change the game.
Oh, it would absolutely change the dynamic.
Dogpile up the loser.
Yep. I'm also looking to. I'd be really interested to see what Aryu's tactics are in this war. If Aryu can take this is I say this is a good choke point. That doesn't really matter versus Kalem, but this is a really nice little pathway into Kalem. Pop, pop, pop. If they can take a big elf stack and walk on all these forts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might also see Uruk going for Uruk is 2 moves from a Kalem fort, and probably cracks it in 2 turns with that stack. 3.
Yeah, it depends really how many birds are inside.
That's true.
Enkidu are quite good at killing forts. They've got I think 3 siege power, and then a bird defending a fort has 1 siege defense. So
they don't get the flying bonus when they're in the fort.
Oh, they do, but it's halved inside.
Oh,
so they basically come out neutral. So they get the 10 from being 10 strength. They're 1, and then inside is half of outside, so it's 1/2, and then doubled to.
I see.
Or maybe it's a +1 flat. I forget. So it may be 1.5. It's either 1 or 1.5.
Oh well.
Anyway, the point is that these guys, the Kalians, are not going to keep Uruk's army out. Mm-hmm. And unlike in LA, for example, where these guys are actually stealthy and flying, they can't actually leave their fort once Uruk is on top of it. So.
Yeah, the big question will be: can Uruk, push onto a Kalem fort and siege it down before the full-size air elementals come out?
Yep.
I think if Uruk, for whatever reason, predicted that Kalem would not have air elementals for 5 more turns, he could make a big bold push, but that could go very wrong.
I feel reasonably happy taking these 3 armies and this god and going right for the cap as Uruk.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how Kalem would fight off the god plus the stack.
It would be tough, yeah. Especially because if you could actually bait, you could use this god as an air elemental bait. Mm-hmm. Let me just see what we got here. So if you're expecting air elementals, well, Cloud Trapeze this god with... actually, it would need to cast Enlarge Self, and it would probably want a little bit more shock resistance. So yeah, if this... Okay, Uruk, if you're listening, make this a shock resist ring. Make sure this thing casts Enlarge Self. I know you have the alteration to catch Enlarge Self. And then use this thing to catch air elemental bombs.
On Cloud Trapeze and repeat? That seems kind of odd.
In any army where Kalem is expecting your army to show up and therefore is scripting 20 air elementals, send the god instead. It will kill all the air elementals and then it will kill the army.
That's true.
Now, it might take a long time to kill the air elementals because it might just retreat first, but it's certainly not going to die. If you give this thing 20 shock resist, it's certainly not going to die anytime soon. I think it's got enough attack to cut through elementals.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe give it some fire shield or something. I don't know how you would do that, but
I don't think you need to.
A mind shield.
You have to wonder if you're Kalem, how do you go about trying to kill this god?
If you're Kalem and you're trying to, you're pretty happy that it only has 7 shock resist at the moment. I don't know, and I think this is, I know I mentioned earlier on the series that I thought Kalem struggles quite a bit, actually. It doesn't actually, on paper it looks really strong, but actually it tends to not have the answers to problems like this. When you only have air magic, what do you do against a decent thug that's size 6? You don't do a lot.
Yeah.
There's just really nothing you can do. Air does not have the kind of utility to deal with this thing. Maybe 30 seeking arrows.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think maybe the best bet is to surround it and then have the other god sort of beat it to death while this god is hitting, random birds.
Yeah, if you can get the other god behind it, then yes, that would work. But that requires you killing the army, or having this thing be alone.
Right.
So if you can catch it alone, great. If you can, I don't think you can beat the army on this thing. So it's gonna be tough. You know, Calum definitely has the strategic advantage, but in a straight up fight, I don't know how Calum actually takes it.
Mm.
All right, cool. Well, here it is. Oh, by the way, did you see we're now selling T-shirts. Yeah, so we're now selling I support EU. I can't pronounce. We're now selling I support Junkyu, Jukujo Ishtar in their war against Kalian oppression. We also selling stickers and mugs, and by we I mean Necromage. All profits will be going to Necromage of Necromage TV. Yeah, absolutely. This is where we have to make the money. It's a monetization platform.